Hey, sometimes Marty, I can't make Lola go to the bathroom faster.
What?
I can't make her go to the bathroom faster, man. I'm like Lola, it's 7:00. The show's got to go, and she's like, but Dad, I got to go for a poo. I'm like, all right.
Oh wow.
I'm like, all right. That's Marty. That's how we're starting the show today on a Thursday, June 20th.
I mean, good morning to you too. I'm having a great morning so far.
And apparently so is my dog Lola. Starting her morning with her morning routines here in the lab with Keith and C. Marty Fit. We're running a few minutes behind because my lovely Pomeranian, she's like, Dad. I'm like, yeah. She got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, all right. And she's just hanging out there. I'm looking at my watch, Marty. I'm like, yeah, but I got to go. And she's like, yeah, but I got to go too, Dad. I'm like, all right.
Hey, man. Part of being a dog owner.
Oh, that's what it is here this morning. Keith C. Marty Fitz. Good morning, Sarvina. Whoa. Woo.
What's up, Sarvina?
Marty. Like 2 minutes after the show starting, and she's just standing at the door with just her I can see her fist knocking. Dum, dum, dum. Dum, dum, dum. Marty? Keith?
No food.
Oh. Hey, Sarvina, Marty's coming to Canada in the middle of July. We're working on dates. We got some dates. We're gonna finalize some details. So, yeah, Marty's rubbing his arms. Get that dollar ready, Sarvina. We're looking for some grub.
Always ready to eat.
If Marty's not fasting anytime soon here in the lab. So, hey, coming up today in the lab, we are talking how to train like an athlete. Marty Fit. Yes, it's true. AJ Zeglen's joining us here a little bit later this morning. AJ trains professional athletes for a living. Marty's trained athletes for a living. Marty trains athletes every single day. And what I mean by that, nation, is you're all athletes. We are all athletes. And I think that's something what we often confuse and forget about Marty, which is, when I started the Business Athlete Performance Lab, it's just like, we're all athletes. If you get up every single day taking care of yourself, you're an athlete. And my mission here, and when I invited you to kind of hang out and work with me, is to help redefine and change the world's idea of what an athlete is. We are all business athletes, Marty.
If you can move, you're an athlete.
You are bang on, my friend. And Sarvina moves. Yeah, less brunches, more crunches, Sarvina. You are bang on with that. Exactly. You got the guy flexing. Sarvina's like, I'm ready to cook. Oh, and Marty. The future is here. Yes.
He's back.
Enzo's out of bed, hanging out.
It's good to have you back, Enzo.
It is good to have you. So Enzo, I got to be honest with you, man. I was missing you in the last few days. I was maybe feeling a little bit empty, Marty. I was like, but where's Enzo? I was used to that trusty, like I was used to having the future next to us. I'm like, okay, I could just look to the future.
Yeah, stuff happens. Enzo has a life too, so
what?
He can't get on every episode.
I thought that everybody lives like you and I, where we just get up and do our thing every single day.
I wish they did.
Hey, speaking of wish they did, nation, I have to show y'all something. Hey, Jimmy, we're going to try something out, pal. So producer Jimmy Marty, he's hanging out with us this morning, and he's doing a greater job every single day. And as we know, we got the two streams happening. We got the vertical stream and the horizontal stream happening. And Jimmy's taking over the vertical stream these days. We're gonna increase the production, because I'll tell you, yesterday, pal, we had Brooks Spadar yesterday. Huge show, eh? Big show yesterday, dude.
Yeah, the engagement went crazy.
Our vertical streaming numbers off the roof.
Yeah.
Like people are just like, yeah, we want to engage with you guys vertically, which is the mobile phones. So we're streaming natively to LinkedIn and also Instagram. But so Jimmy's going to produce over there. But hey, we're talking everybody being business athletes. You cannot be a business athlete if you're going to engage in what I'm going to share next. 2 days ago, myself and Marty Marty shared something that he had read.
Oh, yeah.
And we created a short and we put it out yesterday. And it's gone like hotcakes. Oh? Did I say hotcakes, Marty Fit?
Like McGriddles.
Oh, like McGriddles. Because I think Marty may have said something like this. Jimmy, if you can pull us up on the vertical, let's try this out.
Since we're talking about breakfast, I got to talk about this. I don't want to go on a crazy rant because I know we got to move on with the show. Did you see in 2026 McDonald's and Krispy Kreme are merging?
No.
That's going to be a ridiculous breakfast for a lot of Americans. I don't know if it's happening in Canada too, but come on, man. Talk about crashing and no energy levels. Come on, man.
I can't imagine a Krispy Kreme McDonald's merger. Is that real?
Yo.
Or fake news?
No, it's real.
Dude.
I talked about it on my show.
Dude, okay, so we can see that the collective weight of North America is going to go up come 2027.
Hey, man. I got to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not stopping at this point. I'm never going to run out of content either because that's ridiculous. Since we're talking about breakfast.
Because Marty and myself talked about it a couple days ago, and oh yes, I am frozen again, Marty. Yes, I am, and exactly. Thanks for that. So we talked about that yesterday, and we talked about it along the lines of North America going and getting massive because of the McDonald's Krispy Kreme merger. And if you're a business athlete nation, no, you got to stay away from that. I'm going to reset my I'm going to get my screen set up here, Marty, but chat a little bit about the McDonald's Krispy Kreme thing, because people are talking about it, man. People are talking about the Krispy Kreme McDonald's thing while I pull up my camera here.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact details, but I kind of brought it up yesterday. So apparently a lot of the standalone stores for Krispy Kreme are closing. So, I don't know the details. I'm assuming that McDonald's, they bought the company or bought a portion of the company. So that's where the merge is coming, since they're, I guess they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
And McDonald's, man, they're geniuses there, They are geniuses there. If you think about like McDonald's as a business, they make some great moves, not necessarily ethical moves, in my opinion, but hey, they get into the they getting it.
Dude, I went to McDonald's University in Chicago. They were a customer in my olden days, and I spent some time down in Chicago at their big campus there. It's pretty damn cool. Pretty cool for sure. So, we can have listen, so I know they're like the cheat meal, but do you ever eat McDonald's?
I never eat McDonald's. I've had it before.
Yeah, you don't eat it anymore?
I haven't had McDonald's in I don't know how long, man.
Because
it's been a long time.
Because I'm thinking you're saying to yourself, well, Keith, if I'm going to go for a quarter pounder of cheese, I might as well go to Five Guys. Is that what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah, if I'm getting a burger, I'm going to Five Guys or one of these other burger spots. Yeah.
So
I don't even
go ahead.
I don't see McDonald's burger as a real burger.
No. But there's something about the flavors of McDonald's burgers that I certainly like.
I don't like them.
No.
I used to get like chicken nuggets or fries or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes into the show, guys, and we are going down the McDonald's pass on the day of how to train like an athlete. Nation.
Oh, one more thing too. I heard Wendy's is doing something with Cinnabon.
Dude, come on, man! Just stop with the McDonald's and the Krispy Kreme and
it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy.
All right,
man.
So then Keith and C Marty Fit are going to do a collab. We're gonna go knock on some other show across the world, and we're gonna say, hey, you guys come do a show with us, and we're gonna do a collab. That's gonna be the path there. But hey, back to Enzo, Marty. We got Enzo popping. So Enzo's still feeling crap, still under the weather, but had an awesome. Oh, he had an assessment due 5 minutes ago. Oh. Enzo, you're in the future, man. You're already late, and
I can't even judge. I was the same way in school.
Enzo. You're right. Yes, ain't North American people usually massive? Well, I think there's something to be said for that. I think there absolutely is. Yeah, exactly. The Undertaker.
I saw a meme. It was in Spanish, and it was like when Hispanics moved to America, and it was like one regular picture. Oh, and then on the side when they moved into America, they were way bigger.
Jesus. Oh man, that's and then we got Enzo popping in with we don't have Five Guys here, we got Macca's, and that's pretty much it. So Enzo, of course, is joining us from from the future over in New Zealand. We have people joining us from all over the planet, Marty. On a day we are here to celebrate how to train like an athlete. Popped up on my phone today. So if you're listening, if you're following us on YouTube, if you're following us on LinkedIn, either following my profile page, if you're following the Mornings in the Lab profile page, or if you're following the See Marty Fit profile page or the YouTube page, you will be notified when we go live. We go live every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. In the month of June, January. Hey, Nation, you're running out of time. You are running out of time. I know we have kind of minimized the chatter a little bit lately because we wanted you guys to focus on what you're working on, but it's June 20th, Nation. You get 11 days left, and then you're into the last 5 months of this year. Yep. And I guarantee you, Marty, they're all starting to think about January 2025 resolutions.
Yep.
And what we're encouraging you, Nation, is to come knock on our door. We got some things we're cooking. We got a course here. We got a program here for you, the creator, the athlete, the AI, which will help you achieve those goals. So come knock on our door, guys. We can help you achieve what you wrote down in January to help you get it done this year. Don't wait until January 2025. Marty, many are sitting back going, no, I'm just going to wait now.
Hey, man, we're here to help.
We are here. That's exactly
to help.
Enzo comes in with, I believe Marty only knows those details for these fast food chains because he secretly goes to them.
Hey, man. Hey, Enzo, you sound like a hater, man. You sound like a hater, Enzo.
Hey, Enzo, I'm getting to know Marty even more these days. We're working much more closely together. And yes, I'm going to share the secrets of Marty Fit when we're out driving around Winnipeg in the evenings. I'm saying, Marty, let's go to McDonald's. Say, oh, okay, I'll have one, but I won't tell nobody.
I'll honestly, I'll say no to McDonald's, but I will, depending what food it is, look, I eat. I don't care.
I know you.
I don't hide it. I don't hide it. I keep it real.
Mike McQuinlan jumps in. No, I listen, Nation. We love the commentary, guys. Keep bringing it up on the table here. Mike McQuinlan's joining us, fit presenter, joining us from Lima, Peru. On the show last week, talking about grit and so forth. He's like, if it has a drive-through, keep driving. You know what's funny, Marty? I often think when I see a bakery or I think of a drive-through or I think of like a place where I'm going to go get myself a store, go get myself a cake. I'm gonna go drive to the store and go make myself fat.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. Now you got me started, Keith, and it's early. First of all, if I ever do, like if I go get Chick-fil-A or something, I always walk in the store. I never go to the drive-thru.
Oh.
First of all, if you're gonna be a big back, you better go walk and burn a little bit of calories. First of all. Second of all, every time I go past a drive-thru, the drive-thru is packed. And these are the same people who say they don't have time to work out, they don't have time to meal prep, but you're going to sit in a drive-thru for 30 minutes. The line is wrapped around the corner onto the street, right? You're holding up traffic, this long drive-thru line, but people don't have time to work out. And then I mentioned this before, when I go to Vitamin Shop, it's a Five Guys next to the Vitamin Shop. I don't know why they put those next to each other.
I know, right?
But yo, you see all the fit people like myself, we walk in swiftly in the Vitamin Shop, get our stuff in and out. I see people, if you got to go like this to get out the car, you got a problem. You got to rock. They rock to get out the car, and then they limp into the Five Guys. And I'm like, come on, man. You're making a conscious decision. You're not even making an effort to get better. So I see it all the time.
So, Nation, listen, I want to pause for a moment on Marty's words here, and I want you to hear Christopher Martin, See Marty Fit, and Keith Bilous very clearly. We are full of grace. We have no judgment. Zero. I'm
not judging. I'm just saying what I see.
and listen, and I agree with Marty. He's just 20 years younger than I am. So if you had 35-year-old Keith, you'd have the same kind of tact. So I'm the mature one amongst the group here. So I'm just saying things a little differently. But I'm saying the same thing.
And I'm keeping it mild right now.
But we're saying the same thing, Nation. Sometimes you got to go look in your own mirror and just don't make excuses. And if you're going to walk into Five Guys and hobble into Five Guys and then come out and then call Marty and myself on Monday complaining about it, well, then just, you know the cause of it all, right? Just stop. Stop killing yourself, nation. Marty, Enzo coming in with, he ain't no hater. I'm from the future. I see this stuff. Yes, you are. And Enzo also pops in, is that because you want to show off your muscles to the employees? And bigger people to get them motivated. Yeah, so Marty's walking into the show. Marty's walking into the restaurant so we can show people where he's from and get them all engaged with what's happening here.
I couldn't go to sleep at night if I went to a drive-through at Chick-fil-A. I would be like, I couldn't go to sleep at night.
We got Mama Ross joining us here as well. Morning, brother. Very excited for this episode. Yes, my friend, thanks for joining us. We got Marty streaming out on his channels today. He's at work listening to the best. Marty Fit is the best trainer on YouTube, and he's the best trainer on LinkedIn. Nation, you watch. You watch Marty's profile on LinkedIn. Dan Go, we love you. Dan, we love you. Dan and Trinella, we love you. But we're taking a run at you, pal. We're here to compete, and we're here to go build our own following here up on the old LinkedIn channel.
Let's get it.
Mike McQuillan jumping in. The organic food store next door sells turkey, eggs, local grown quinoa, and real dairy directly from the farm. Oh, there you go, Marty. Food to table. And people still love fast food. It's true, though. They taste good.
What tastes good? No, serious question.
The pizza I'm gonna crush.
It tastes good. It tastes good.
100%. Yeah, absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. Hey, look what time it is. I think it's time to do this. It is time to move the clock, man. We are off the rails, and I love days like today where we're just kind of Marty.
There we go.
There we go, my friend.
Yeah.
It's time, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, it's time for the accountability check-in. It's that time on the day, nation, where we get you thinking about how you want to get your day started. And we get you thinking about that day might be, I'm going to put myself on the bigger camera and minimize Marty's head. Hey, Jimmy, we can do the same thing on the vertical side there. We're going to do, Jimmy, we're going to do that there. Today, the accountability check-in, you guys, it is... Let me be frank. All of your aspirations, ambitions, nation, they mean, Marty, they mean nothing. They mean nothing. If you are not willing to put your human machine first, like your body, your mind, your soul, the right food in your body, if you're not willing to do any of that first, you're going to fail. Your body, your mind, they need to be in peak condition. If you want to enjoy the success that you're building, because if your body gives in, if your body doesn't function optimally, what's going to be the value, Marty? What's the use? What's the point? So make sure your priorities are straight. Health trumps all success in the world, whether you're a business person, whether you're an athlete, whether you're somebody who wants to be a business athlete, health, it trumps all success. Whatever, Marty, whatever, AJ, success means to you. So if you're sitting here wondering what you're going to do, and you got all these plans, you got all these goals, you have all these aspirations and ambitions, they mean diddly nothing if you ain't take care of yourself first. So nation, all that hustling means nothing without your health. So today, when you wake up and you want to be an athlete, that business athlete, live like an athlete, extend your life to 80, 90, 100, going tobogganing with your kids when they're 80, when you're 80, got to take care of yourself today. Because the cumulative actions you're doing today are going to add up over time. You got a choice, Marty. That choice is either to do the right thing or do the optional thing. And the optional thing just might not be the right thing. So there's your accountability check-in, nation. Today with myself, Keith Bilous, See Marty Fit. We do it every single day around this time. Give you something to think about. On the day we're here to talk about how to train like an athlete. And Marty, we have somebody sitting in the green room, and I got to tell you, man. So I know this. So Age is one of my best friends. I've known the guy forever, and I got to crack a joke, even though he's sitting here not to defend himself.
Uh-oh.
So, dude, he's on both streams right now. Like, I sent him a text, so I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to give you 2 links. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, is it going to work? Is it going to happen correctly? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I saw him pop in on the vertical stream there, Marty. And I'm like, holy smokes, the guy's on the horizontal feed too. So joining us in the lab right now is, of course, our good friend of the lab, Mr. AJ Zeglen. Thanks, Jimmy, for pulling that up. What's going on, Zeg?
Not much, man. How you guys doing?
Good to see you here on Train Like an Athlete. Oh, we're going to do this.
Doing good, man.
We are going to do this. There we go. AJ Zeglen joins us from Winnipeg, Canada. So AJ runs Invictus.
Performance-focused psychotherapy.
Yeah.
Invictus PFP for short.
There you go. So AJ has migrated from, not migrated, but it continues to evolve his training from not only training strength and conditioning and physical side of things, Marty, but he's also evolved into training the brain and training the mental side to take that whole human being, that whole athlete, and holistically make them better. So here we're going to move into the conversation, guys, about how to train like an athlete for life. And AJ, I invited you to the show because I know you train pro athletes. Marty, I know you're a D1 athlete. You've trained pros as well. There really isn't two better people to have this conversation with. So I'm going to minimize myself, bring you guys up onto the stage here, and let's have the conversation about what it's like to live a life of training like an athlete. Marty, why don't you start it off before we throw it over to you and AJ?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's super important to train like an athlete. And one thing that sticks out to me just, off the top is injury prevention, right? A lot of people, we get these injuries, let's say walking down the steps, right? If you can't step down and your body can't manage your weight, that's an injury waiting to happen. Stopping and going, you want to be able to, let's say you did have to run in an emergency. You want to be able to stop. Managing your weight is big, right? Having the ability to land, having the ability to jump, those are all important. And when you have those abilities, you have less risk for things like osteoporosis or having weak joints, weak bones, and a lot of people underestimate that. So when you see people get older, and it's like, oh yeah, my knees are bad, and it's like, are your knees bad, or did you neglect training? Right? Did you neglect building muscle for a certain amount of time? So, and then just the, I'm sure AJ, you can speak on this too. Just the process of lifting weights, which is difficult for most people when they start. Right? What does that do for you mentally? Right? Does that help your problem solving skills? Right? Are you gonna stress out when things get hard? Are you gonna quit every time things get difficult? So not only do you get the physical benefits, you get the mental benefits as well. So I'm sure you can expound on that, AJ.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think that's a huge part of it, right? Life is tough, right? There's going to be challenges, and being resilient, both physically and mentally, is a huge advantage for us, right? I think too, from my own experience, one of the, great things that we can take over from training like an athlete, and that's applicable to all of us in a very helpful way, is that when you're an athlete and you're part of a team and part of an organization, the advantage that you have is you have this structure set in place. Because stuff happens in life, and sometimes our motivation is high, sometimes it's low. Motivation is a feeling, right? So it can be fleeting, it comes and goes, where if we have that structure in place, that really helps us stay on track even when our motivation is low. That really helps build that evidence for us that we are who we say we are. If you've been part of a team and you're training together and you're practicing together, and you have the daily schedule, right? Okay, well, I got to be at the rink, or I got to be at the field at this time, and then we watch film from this time to this time, and then we're in the gym from this time to this time, and when we're in the gym, here's the program, here's laid out, so there's all this structure created for athletes, which is, helps them be successful, right? And I think one thing that we could take, if we're like, hey, what's the advantage of training like an athlete? It's like, we got to create that same structure for ourselves. And then that structure, that routine becomes our daily habits. And then it keeps us on track. It keeps us motivated when, even when stuff in our life gets crazy and our motivation's high or low or whatever, we just know that that's what we do every day. And then it also, builds this like incredible amount of evidence that we are who we say we are. We want to be a hardworking person. We want to be a business athlete. It's like, okay, well, how do you know you're a business athlete? It's like, oh, I do know. Like, look at, here's my body of work. here's what I do every morning when I go and train, or here's what, so it also, has a positive effect on our confidence because, we have this experience of showing up every day. Right.
It's very true. We have some comments coming in from the show, gentlemen. We got Damon Ardell coming in, checking in on leg day. And Marty, he talks about this is true. When he started lifting and training, notice his knees got stronger, but he had to maintain it. Knees got sore if you're not stressing or being consistent with the legs. It's leg day for Damon today. And we got somebody else joining us today, Marty, as well. Take me to your lead. Join us. Good morning. I finally made it live. Glad to hear this before my workout this morning. Currently recompiling, building muscle, drinking water, and minding my business. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Making that structure. So, guys, one of the things that I know, AJ, when I met you and I said, hey, man, train me like an athlete back when I met you a number of years ago, what struck me, and Marty and you and I talk about it all the time, and you guys touched upon this, and we talked about this yesterday, Marty, with Brooke. Structure is the key, isn't it? Like structure and systems, would that be the two S's? Are those the ultimate keys to continuing to train like an athlete your whole life? AJ?
Yeah, I think so, right? It's that consistency over time that's going to yield the greatest results, right? So if we don't have a plan, if we don't have habits in place, if we don't have any structure or anything to follow, the chances of us being consistent with it over a long period of time go down drastically, right? Because you can't just show up every day and be like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, or wake up in the morning and be like, well, I don't know when I work out. I don't know if I go to the gym at 6 a.m. or at noon or at midnight or at whatever. I just don't know. I guess I'll just see where my day takes me, and hopefully I get there at some point. That's not going to work, right?
It's not going to work.
Right. Exactly. So I would agree with you. I think that's a huge part of that consistency is having that structure that creates our daily habits, creates our routines.
Mike McQuillan joins us, Marty, by saying structure doesn't freeze you, structure frees you. And I know, Marty, you often talk about, if you don't have a plan, if you're planning on winging it, you're going to eat chicken wings.
Yeah, if you wing it, you're going to eat chicken wings. No, what's crazy is, though, and I'm sure, AJ, you can agree with me, but, I train mostly general population. Most people, they didn't have a structure. They didn't play sports. So The first time they get with the trainer is the first time they get some structure in their lives. Yeah. So they struggle with it. They don't understand that, okay, I can't get up in the morning because I didn't prepare last night. I didn't go to bed last night. I didn't get my clothes together. I kind of just stayed up, and I hope I would not want to press snooze when I wake up in the morning, So A lot of people don't have that structure, and fitness is big for building it, So, and I feel like that structure carries over to other areas of your life too.
Gents, when people hear us training like an athlete, are they thinking, well, but Keith, I don't need to go and train like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James? I'm pretty happy living how I'm living. So some people, AJ, Marty, might think to ourselves that, no, you guys are talking too extreme. Like, I don't need to train like LeBron James. I don't need to train like The Rock. But yet, I think what you both are saying, it's not about training like The Rock. It's not about training like LeBron James. It's about creating the simple structure to achieve the business success or life success. And it's really about having a plan. So it's not, so this idea of an athlete, I think we get too caught up in it means elite. It means extreme. It doesn't have to, does it?
I was going to say, you can take some parts of that though, and put that, you can implement that in your actual training. So maybe you're not lifting as much as a professional athlete, but you can look at a professional athlete and say, okay, hey, they train their full body. They don't skip legs. They don't skip upper body. Oh, they're doing some mobility too. Let me try that. Oh, they're doing some stretching as well. Let me try that. They're doing strength training. So I think you can literally use that and put it in your training. But I see what you're saying too, Keith, but I think people do need to look at athletes. I talked about that on my podcast the other day. Stephon Diggs had a video out, and he was training his core. He did some upper body. He did some lower body. He did some mobility stuff. So I think you literally can use that. I think that's the best way to train like an athlete. So I'm sure AJ agrees with me.
Yeah, I was gonna say something along the similar lines. I think that while we might not look at a professional athlete's program and try to replicate the exact same weight they were using, or maybe even some of the progressions of the exercises. The template is really the same, right? And that's kind of a really cool person is, or sorry, a really cool thing that we have that can connect people in this training community is that the foundational principles are still the same. Whether you're an amateur athlete of any developmental age, if you're a pro athlete, if you're like a weekend warrior athlete, if you're the principles are the same. Where okay, I get to the gym, like what do I want to do? Well, in any sport that I play, the number one tool that I have to use is my own body. Or anything I do in life, the number one tool I have to use is my own body. I want to make sure I can move my body well. Okay, well, how do we do that? Well, so there's a combination. There's some mobility work. There's some strength work. So not only can I move my body through a specific range of motion, but I'm strong through that range of motion. Like Marty was saying, I'm not neglecting any areas of my body, because I understand that if I'm an athlete or if I'm just someone who's trying to perform better at life, like you said, that my body is my tool that I need to use to help me function at a high level. So I don't want to skip a certain upper body or lower body or certain muscle group or this or that. I want to make sure that I have a well-rounded training program that addresses all those areas, and that would be universal, right? So you are actually training like them. You might not, if the Rock's squatting 500 pounds or whatever he's doing, you might not be doing the same weight, but the foundational principles are the same in there.
Absolutely.
It's true. We have a comment coming from Take Me to Your Leash. Says exercise regulates stress for me. The mom got me. My brother's in gymnastics at a young age because we had a lot of energy. That work ethic and compartmentalization helped me through the basic training and all. Right? It's just this idea of training like an athlete through all aspects of her life. So listen, guys. Let's coming up here, Marty. We're going to get to the See Marty Fit Tip here in a moment, and then gents, I want to keep the conversation going around how to train like an athlete. And then I found something that I wanted to throw at you guys with a little bit of surprise, which is 5 exercises that a lot of people listening to the show right now hate. 5 exercises people hate, and why AJ and C Marty Fit say you should do them anyways, regardless if you're an athlete or not. So we're going to get to that in a moment. But Marty, if you're ready, we are going to throw you up for the C Marty Fit Tip of the day, and we are going to we're going to get that going here in a second. Let's do this. Marty. Sound effect. It's time for you to get that See Marty Fit Tip of the day. Marty, throwing over to you, my friend.
I love it, man. So today's fit tip, want success in life, make health your priority. All right. So I get it. It's tempting to skip the gym and drive straight to work, but that's the fast track to burnout. Starting your day with fitness is non-negotiable for success, because you can't be your best self for others if you don't take care of yourself first. When you kick off your day with a workout, you're setting the tone for productivity and positivity. And you're also starting your day with a win, right? So you can have the worst day, but at least you got your workout in. So you still got the win. So that worst day doesn't feel like the worst day on earth anymore. And so you'll feel focused. You'll feel energized and ready to tackle anything. Remember, your fitness fuels your day. Make yourself a priority. And do you think taking care of yourself before anyone or anything else is selfish? What's your opinion? And I always tell, my parents that I train, it's like, how can you be the best parent, if you're not at your best, right? How can you be the best parent if you're feeling sluggish? You're dragging. You had a 500 calorie coffee with the donuts and the hash browns. You're not gonna be the best parent. Hey, you're not gonna be the best at work. It's no way. So I'm being so serious, bro. These are the conversations I have all the time. It's no way you can be your best. As soon as your boss gets mad at you, this gonna ruin your day. You're gonna be angry, right? You're gonna be irritable the rest of the day. So it is what it is. So start your day with a workout. And that's going to be the key to your success.
It is what it is. Start your day with a workout. Eccentric tips from C Marty Fit. If you're a parent, man, start your day with the right example. Every day at this time of the show, we get the C Marty Fit tip content to help you think, content to help you move. On today's Marty Fit tip of the day, gents, we're going to keep the conversation going. We have Be Energetic. Yes, we can see your message, my friend. We absolutely can see your message coming up on the screen.
What's going on, man?
So, gents, I want to continue the conversation with you guys around how to be an athlete in life. And there's clients of yours, AJ. There's clients of yours, Marty, that you guys give them programs that you give athletes, and they're like, AJ, do I really got to do that? And they're like, Marty, I don't really want to do that. And I found a list of 5 exercises that I know many people hate, but why we should do them anyways. AJ, going to start with you. So everybody hates planks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody hates planks. If you skip them, they help posture. If you skip them, you're missing out on all the great benefits of planks. So AJ, let's start the discussion about, how to be an athlete and train for life, and some of these exercises that you have to do them anyways, frankly, if you want to be an athlete in life. AJ, planks. Talk about the benefits of planks and why we need to do planks before I throw it to you, Marty.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's, for our training model that we use in our foundational principles at our facility, the plank, or we call it the loaded carry, is one of our five basic movements. We go squat, hinge, push, pull, carry. So the plank would be the, that we think of, the standard kind of plank on your elbows and toes on the ground. That would be the, like one of the earlier progressions of what we would call a loaded carry. And it's just foundational because, well, for one, we want to work our core in an athletic sense in different areas. So we want to work on anti-rotation. We want to work on rotation. A lot of the power that we create as an athlete is generated through the core. So we have to be able to create rotation, resist rotation, in different capacities. And then, having that ability is going to have a positive effect on our athletic attributes in our sport, whether we're swinging a golf club or a bat, whether we're taking a shot in hockey, whether we're resisting rotation in, in a sport that's physical and there's physical contact and someone's trying to move you, and then it also sets the foundational for our other big lifts. So when we squat, when we deadlift, when we do all those things, we have to have bracing through our core. We have to be able to stabilize the weight if we want to be able to move the weight, right? And that all ties in together with those planks.
AJ, you said something a minute ago, which I don't want to overlook, and I don't want Business Athlete Nation to overlook. And you said that the strength of an athlete, something along the lines of the strength of an athlete starts within the core.
Right.
And everything they do starts within the core. Yet, we see the big shoulders, the big muscles, the big quads and everything else. But yet, AJ, Marty, where it all really begins is inside the middle of your body, isn't it? And the strength of the core. Is that something that's often overlooked, AJ and Marty? Because when we think of core, we think of abs, but we don't think about how strong our core needs to be to really, truly be an athlete.
Yeah, I think you're right. When we generally think of core, we think of abs and like the 6-pack and like the aesthetic value of the core, which a lot of athletes, if you've seen pro athletes and stuff, might have and looks great. But obviously on top of that, there's a highly important, function that the core plays within how we're able to move our body and the power that we're able to generate, right? If we're trying to pick up something heavy off the ground and our core is like a wet noodle and it provides no stability in there, we're not going to be able to move that weight, right? Mm-hmm. If we're an athlete in a physical sport and we're trying to move somebody, picture an offensive lineman in football. If they didn't have any core strength in there, how are they going to move anybody when they're in that, physical confrontation? The guy's just going to be able to push them over, right? He's going to fold them over. I mean, there's a a million different examples that you could find as far as it providing stability to the body and how the body moves. And yeah, but it is the centerpiece, and that's where, you know, a lot of our power is generated from the hips. And so we have the low back, we have the core, and everything tied into that.
Yeah. Marty, gonna throw it to you. The next one we're gonna keep this.
Hold on, Keith, real quick. I wanted to share something. I thought you were going to throw me the plank question real quick.
Yeah,
I wanted to share something real quick. Is that cool?
Oh, for sure it is. Yeah, it's half. Yep. Yeah. Oh, here we go. What do you got coming up here?
Can y'all see that?
Hold on. I'm going to change this for you. There we go. Yeah.
All right. So look, you can see, we see that the planks, you got some shoulder activation. You working every part of your core. You got the you know, so these ladies obviously have a strong core. Now, do I agree with them pouring champagne while they're doing a plank? Absolutely not. But this is a sign of a strong core right here. So shout out to these ladies. All right, I can stop it now.
Yeah, but that's a great example, though, Marty, and that's a humorous example of keeping people honest with their core. So, however you get it done, nation, if it's pouring the glasses of wine, but you're strengthening the core, that's a great example, Marty. I love that.
Appreciate it.
I love that, Marty. Let's continue the core, and let's continue exercise that most humans hate. Yet, if you truly want to be an athlete, you need to do this.
Let's talk about it.
Jumping. People hate jumping. They land hard. They don't understand the mechanics of it. They don't understand how to soften the jump. Talk about jumping and this simple thing that all of us humans can do, yet apparently we all hate it. Jumping. Marty Fit.
Yeah, I actually just talked about I just mentioned it earlier. The act of jumping and landing, right? It shows how strong your legs are, right? And it's a form of injury prevention, right? And I made a post the other day talking about, you know, trainers need to be fit, and they were asking, well, what does fit mean? And I mentioned jumping as part of it. You know, it's a basic human movement, and if you can't jump, that is a sign that something needs to be worked on. Something needs to be strengthened. Something needs to be fixed. There is a mobility issue. Maybe one muscle is too tight, but it's a great measure for how fit you are and what you need to work on. So I absolutely agree. People hate jumping. They think it's only for young people. They think it's only for athletes. But you know, everybody needs to be able to jump. And I have people in their 50s and 60s. They can still jump. So I absolutely agree with that, Keith.
AJ, you got a comment on jumping? People come to you all, you know, people come into focus with you and they want to learn how to train like an athlete, and you say, okay, I want you to jump. Do they look at you like, dude, I'm 50 years old, I'm 60 years old, I haven't jumped in 30 years, man. What the hell am I jumping for, AJ? Would that be something that somebody might address with you and you're like, no, you got to jump, man. Talk about jumping, AJ.
Yeah, no, totally. It's it ties in. I was talking about our 5 basic movements that we use as foundational. We have 3 athletic principles that we also apply to our training. So in every one of our programs, there's always some form of a lift, a jump, and a sprint, because we feel that they're just foundational pieces to athleticism. And, you know, the important thing to remember is they're going to show up in different ways. So depending on the training level or training experience, training age of the athlete, depending on, their goals, where they're starting from, what their experience is, their current level of fitness, all these things are going to dictate where you're going to start that jump from, right? And what that's going to look like. But, you know, the important thing is that you remember that there's progressions to everything. So if someone comes in and they're worried about this, like, you know, are they all of a sudden doing a 3-foot box jump or something like that? No, they're not. Right? You're starting them at the appropriate progression, right? Yep. And then you're breaking down the jump and being like, what's a jump? It's an explosive hip extension, right? With some of our athletes, if they're in a like a strength speed phase in their training plan, they might be doing an Olympic lift, like a clean, a hang clean, and we're like, hey, this satisfies the jump component in this phase of your programming. As they progress over, maybe it looks like more like what you would think a jump would look like. People have an idea of, box jumps or certain plyometrics jumps, jumping down the turf and stuff. And, when we first start any athlete out, before we teach anyone how to jump, we teach them how to land. And so they start on a very, very low box. It could be 6 inches off the ground. It doesn't matter. And they step off and they learn how to absorb that force, and they land in a nice balanced athletic position. And at that point in our training for that person, that individual, whether they're an athlete or someone from the general population, again, that satisfies that jump component in their programming, right? Because it's all part of the same piece, just at different progressions. So I think it's vital. It's extremely important. And if anyone's nervous about them, I would just tell them that, it's okay to be nervous, but your trainer will find the proper progression of jump for you to start at, and then apply it appropriately. And then you just build on it from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Lauren, Marty, comes in with jumping for cardiovascular health too. Right. Like just, getting that heart rate up, getting that cardio going, and then bringing it down again. Right. So certainly that value in that as well. And then we got Mambo Ross. Should you do jumps on a leg day or cardio day? Great question, gentlemen. Should you do jumps on a leg day or cardio days? Granted, you're in good health and strength base for it. But Marty, what's your opinion on that? Should you do jumps on leg day or cardio days, or both, or never?
I do them on both days.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. So my leg days, I tend to, that's when I add some weight to it. So I do, maybe weighted squat jumps or, things like that. But on my cardio / my hit and full body days, I'll do maybe more like long jumps or frog jumps, whatever you want to call them, broad jumps. I'll do that for distance, and that'll activate that cardiovascular and really get me going. So.
There you go. And Mambo's coming back from knee injury, doesn't want to re-injure it. So there's some tips from Marty and AJ. So gents, we are we're working on the last segment of the show. I'm going to come back to Jimmy. We're going to pull up our creator spotlight here. Gents, we're going to come back to the 5 exercises that human beings hate, which we know will help you be an athlete for life. And so far we've dug into, guys, the idea of planks. We've dug into the idea of jumping, and we got 3 more on the list we're going to quickly get to. But before we do that, guys, I want to take this segment in the show. And AJ, you've been here before. It's this segment of the show where we take that big old light and we find somebody on LinkedIn Nation. We're like, yeah, I like the work that he's doing, or she's doing, or that person's doing, and celebrate them. And today, Marty, I've been interacting with this fellow recently. You are welcome, Mamba Ross. I've been interacting with this fellow lately, and he made a post this morning, which I love. Because there has been I get DMs knocking on my door all the time. People trying to sell me something. Sell. My response, who are you? Who are you? We live in a world now where it's so easy to get to know somebody online. Like, come get to know me. Come show your personality. AJ Zeglen, come share who you are before you want to say, hey, Keith, do you want to buy from me? And this fellow has done a wonderful job of sharing that example of how to do it better. He's a founder, entrepreneur, dad, B2B Jedi. He's a LinkedIn shredder of light. He's from London, England. Today's creator spotlight, Marty Fit, is, I'm going to do this right here. Today's creator spotlight is Robert Coe. Robert joins us, not physically, mentally, or emotionally, but he joins us on the screen from London. Robert had a post yesterday, which I loved. And he talks about this one here. Nation, if you are in sales, I'm going to give you a 10-second tip. If you are in sales, read this post from Robert. Free advice for anyone on LinkedIn using this to make money. Knows it's tough out there. When you connect to a new member on LinkedIn, breathe. Relax. Do not instantly DM them. Engage with their content for 20, 30 days before you send them a message. Nation, sales is 80% psychology, 20% technique. Once you realize that, the game becomes easier. Sales is not like it was back when I was AJ and Marty's age. Like, I'm ancient now. Sales is very different. Sales is empathy. Sales is relationships. Sales is that 360 view of who you are. You want to get to know who Marty is, get to know what he stands for, get to know what his principles are, and then you might be comfortable buying from Marty. If Marty comes knocking on your door right away, you're like, who the hell's this Marty guy? That's what's happening today. So if you are a salesperson on LinkedIn, get to know them. Get to know your tribe, get to know the community before you want to knock on the door and sell you something. And Robert Coe has done an exceptional job creating content to let you all know that there's a better way to do sales. I invite you to check out his content. He's got a great sense of humor. He made a great post yesterday about going hard or going home. If you had one choice, AJ, would you go hard and just sell, and you can only get one, or would you build empathy around an audience and be connecting and have a nice approachable demeanor where you can build a long-term relationship? And he had a great post about that yesterday. So I encourage you all to check out Robert Coe. He is our Creator Spotlight today, live mornings in the lab with myself, C. Marty Fit, and friends. Robert, we want to have you on the show, man. I've been interacting with you on LinkedIn. I want to have you up here to get you into the conversation. Congratulations on being named today's Creator Spotlight. All right, guys, last segment. Let's wrap up our conversation around exercises and things that humans hate that they should be doing to have them be like an athlete. Last three on the list. Marty, squats. People hate doing squats, whether they're body squats or weighted squats. Yet squats, and AJ, you and I talk about all the time, the most honest exercise known to a human. Because when you're down in the squat, you got one of two choices, bail or stand up. Marty Fit, talk about the power of a squat.
No, absolutely. A lot, and like I mentioned earlier, people say they have bad knees, so they can't do leg day. And I'm like, well, you sit down on the toilet, you sit down on your work chair, you sit down on the couch, then you can squat. So we're not hearing that here. I don't want to hear any of that. And no, I'm being so serious. Y'all think I'm playing, but yeah, it's an essential movement. You have to squat. And or dudes like, well, yeah, I'm not trying to get a big butt, so I'm not squatting. Like, you sound insane, So I'm trying to help you. Like, look, you 50 years old, bruh. I'm trying to help you still move around when you get 60 and 70, and you trying to neglect squats. So it's essential. Fellas, I know you think it's only for girls. Don't neglect it. You need it for all types of things. I know we're running out of time, so I don't want to go on a tangent, but yeah, we need squats, fellas.
And hey, and AJ, if you want to play in the NFL, I talked with Marty about this a couple weeks ago. There's been this trend on looking for the high butt.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to play in the NFL nation, or if you want to have a good athletic life, you need to squat to create the high butt. Next on the list, AJ Zeglen. What we also need to do, and I love that you think about the push-pull mechanism, deadlifts. Humans dread the deadlift. AJ Zeglen, talk about the power and why we need to do deadlifts.
Yeah, I mean, another foundational movement, right? It's based off of what we call a hinge pattern, meaning that the primary portion of the movement is driven by hip flexion and hip extension, and there's some limited knee flexion and extension that coordinates with that, but it's primarily been driven by the hips. So it carries into a whole bunch of things that would show up in our daily life. Just as C. Marty Fit there was talking about the examples of the squat showing up in daily life. There's lots of things that we could say the same for the deadlift when we, anytime we pick anything up. We talk about being an athlete and jumping. Jumping is all driven by hip extension, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't only want to train that through jumps, but we have to strengthen that as well, with strength movements that we could add weight to, so we could go through progressive overload. Just like I was talking about the jumps, there's progressions to deadlifts. So, I think one of the hesitations towards them for people is they think deadlift and they've seen some picture somewhere online or some video of, maybe Ronnie Coleman deadlifting 800 pounds. And people are like, oh, that's not for me. Like, I would destroy my back. I would blow it out and stuff. And you're just like, no. That's like one extreme example on the far end of the spectrum. There's hundreds of different deadlift variations with bands, with dumbbells, with kettlebells, with trap bars, with straight bars, unilaterally loaded or bilaterally loaded, and single arm. There's so many different variations that you can find the proper progression for you to start at safely and effectively, and then just build from there.
Yeah. I got a couple comments coming up here, guys. I'm going to throw the last one on the table as we wrap the show up here in a couple of moments. And I got the last one, you guys. And I'm sure you guys know what this one is, but it's the most dreaded, hated human exercise that every human being on the planet hates. And AJ, I remember being in the gym with you training and watching the athletes hate this exercise as well. But before we do that, guys, Enzo's here to say it's a rainy day during a gym session. Would you do a run on the treadmill before your session to warm up, or at the end to finish off? Marty, and before you answer that, Enzo says, I got a knee injury. Only thing I got told to stay away from was the leg pressing until I got cleared fully, but everything else should be fine. But Marty, quick question for you is, would you do a run on the treadmill before session to warm up, or at the end of to finish off?
I usually do it to warm up. I know science says it's better to do it after, but honestly, when I'm attacking the weights, I like my body to be warm, and I already like to have broken a sweat already. So that's just me.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And then, of course, Take Me to Your Lead says, what are your opinions on incorporating rucking with weights between 25 to 50 pounds? She uses a chiropractor because she lifts pretty heavy for her job. Is it essential for recovery, especially for those with muscle imbalances? AJ.
So rucking can be, an effective form of exercise. I would just say that anyone that's doing it with loading should just make sure that they want to try to distribute that load evenly, right? So the rucking, you get your rucking packs, and you could buy ones actually designed for rucking, and then you add plates in there to weight them. And then they have the straps, so you try to evenly distribute that load. Usually rucking involves extremely long distances, so it's like you're going for a weighted walk, but you're walking 10, 15, 20 miles, right? It's usually done over a long period of time. So I usually just recommend people trying to get the proper gear for it so that weight's evenly distributed, because you're going to be supporting it for a really long time. Chiro, I think it's like most other professions in the health industry. I've met some unbelievable chiropractors that were awesome and believed a very holistic approach to treating people. And so they would not only perform the modalities that they use for chiro, but they would also supplement that with saying like, hey, you have an imbalance here. We also have to strengthen this muscle, to help correct this imbalance, or, so they had more depth to it. In my opinion, always, if you're seeing a chiro that just, wants to adjust you every week and you've been going for 5 years and the problem has never resolved itself, then you probably have to look a little deeper and find out, what's going on, whether there's, something that's weak that needs to be trained, something that we have to do with our mobility to move more freely through that range of motion. And, we got to start exploring other options. But there's some good chiros out there and some bad chiros out there, no different than athletics or physios or trainers, or it just depends on finding the right one that has your best interest in mind and approaches it with a holistic approach.
I saw your message, Lorenzo, coming up. AJ, if you've been going to a chiro, Marty, for 5 years and you haven't seen any results, you need to get a new chiro.
Agreed.
That's fair.
Gents, the last question on the table, and Enzo, I'll come back to you before we say goodbye. But boys, the last exercise that every human being hates on the planet, Marty, I got you on the screen here coming up, is burpees. Marty, over to you first quickly, pal. Burpees.
Burpees are unnecessary, but they're great. And I add them in my training and I make my clients do them. But they're not a functional movement that you don't have to do them. So, yeah, AJ.
Oh, don't have to do them, says Marty. AJ Zeglen.
You don't. You really don't.
I feel the same way about them. Have we used them in the past in training? Absolutely, we have. We've used them in certain circumstances with certain populations. Do we use them all the time? No, we kind of pick and choose our spots. I think where the problem with the burpee comes in is there's actually a little bit of technique to the movement to do it properly. But they're often applied in examples of or in instances of extreme conditioning workouts. So you'll tell someone, oh, you got to do 100 burpees. And I think what happens sometimes is obviously there's a great level of fatigue that accumulates while you're doing them. And then the technique breaks down very quickly. So all of a sudden after 20 burpees, they can't hold the technique anymore, but you're expecting them to do 80 more. Right. So I think sometimes it's also just the application of them and how they're used. They could probably be used in a better way. But yeah, I mean, I don't use them a ton with our athletes, but we have used them in the past before.
There you go. Marty's got something on the screen here. When 3 bodybuilders are forced to run, Marty.
Yeah, I was just going to say, watch these bodybuilders struggle with running. Don't neglect your cardio. So I understand that you're strong and you can lift pretty heavy. Don't be like these guys. All right. You know, if you train like a bodybuilder, you're going to look like a bodybuilder and you're going to perform in life like a bodybuilder. So I wanted to leave that gem with y'all before we get up out of here.
I like that, Marty, because we're here to teach people today how to be an athlete. And if that's being a bodybuilder, that's great. But you also need to learn how to run, too. So listen, gents, before we say goodbye, Enzo popped in here quickly. He's like, I just want to quickly throw this up on the screen here. He's like, Marty, there's a McDonald's next to a liquor store and a barber shop at the top of my road to send a guy scoffing a cheeseburger and a Corona Extra name while I'm getting a fade. I was mind blowing. Enzo, that's what happens in the future, man. That's what happens in the future. And Enzo uses burpees all the time after to help with explosiveness. So Enzo, love having you joining us on the show here this morning. To everybody that joined the show this morning, Lauren, Sarvina, Enzo, the future. We got Mike McQuinlan from Peru, Lima, Peru joining us. Mambo Ross, Demand Ardell joining us. We have Be Energetic joining us and Take Me Your Lead, as well as a bunch of other folks joining us here this morning on the show. Man, we're into overtime. Marty, what's going on today, pal? I know you are going to catch up. What else you got going on your plate today, buddy?
Just working, that's all. Workout.
I love it. AJ Zeglen, thanks for joining us, man. I know it was short notice. I always love having your opinion. I love having your vibe. Love having you here in the lab. How can Business Athlete Nation find you? How can they get a hold of you? How can they connect with you? And what you got going on for your day? Where can they find you, AJ?
Yeah, easiest way to find me would be on Instagram. I have my personal one at AJ Zeglen. I have my one for my training facility at Focus Fitness TN. And then I have one for my mental health and wellness at Invictus PFP.
Awesome. Guys, if you want to connect with AJ, go find him on his Instagram here. I'm going to put it on the screen at AJ Zeglen. You can find him on LinkedIn. You can also find him. If you're looking for some not only physical training, but also some mental training, I invite you to go knock on AJ's door. I can speak from experience. I've known the young man for many, many years. He'll help you get yourself sorted out. So, Age, thanks for joining us, pal. Appreciate you. Marty, I appreciate you as well. We got one last comment popping up here as well. Oh, I got my good friend Tom from Africa. Yes, you do, Tom. You need to do some more jumping, pal. Have a great day, nation. We're going to get this into the feed in a couple minutes. AJ, hang around for a quick second. And guys, we'll see you later, okay? All right, going to hit this here. Boom, boom.